What if I told you Lionel Messi might be walking straight into a trap in the MLS Conference Final because just days before kickoff, Tim Howard has fired a warning that could shake Inter Miami to its core? Why is one of America's greatest keepers sounding the alarm? And what danger does NYCFC pose that even Messi can't ignore? Stay with me, because what Howard revealed might change how you see this entire matchup, and the twist at the end will leave you stunned. We'll explain everything in this video step by step. Don't skip it. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because the storm is brewing in Major League Soccer and it's rolling straight into the conference final. Inter Miami, led by the one and only Lionel Messi, are marching into the biggest showdown of their season. But hold on, because a warning has just been fired across their path. Yes, Tim Howard, the American Wall himself, has stepped forward with a message that's sending shockwaves across MLS. And he's not whispering it. He's practically ringing the alarm bells. Howard saying loud and clear, Messi and Miami better bring their absolute best against New York City FC, or they might be heading home early. And you can feel it, can't you? The tension, the pressure, the weight of expectations pressing down on Miami like a full field press. Messi has been magical this season. Goals, assists, passes that defy logic. But Howard's message is simple. NYCFC don't fear reputation. They fear nothing. They're young, they're aggressive, and they smell blood in the water. Inter Miami's story this season has been nothing short of a rollercoaster. Injuries, tough stretches, gritty wins, and Messi rising above it all like the calmest man in the stadium. But now, this is where heroes are carved. This is where champions breathe differently. One mistake, one loose touch, one missed run, and boom, the entire season could turn upside down. NYCFC, meanwhile, are treating this like a mission. They've been climbing, grinding, proving people wrong week after week, and now they stand in front of the greatest player to ever touch a football, and they're not blinking. Howard's warning isn't trash talk, it's a reality check, because finals aren't won by names, finals are won by fire. And tonight, oh tonight, we're going to see whether Miami have that fire blazing, or whether NYCFC are ready to extinguish it once and for all. Messi knows it, the fans feel it, and the stakes, they're a mountain. So get ready, because the MLS Conference Final is about to explode into life. Passion, pressure, glory and heartbreak all on one pitch. And as Howard's warning echoes across the league, only one question remains. Will Messi answer back the only way he knows, with magic? Let the drama begin. Howard's warning to Messi and Inter Miami before the conference final against New York City FC comes as more than just casual commentary. It feels like a spotlight shining directly on the reality that reputation alone doesn't win knockout matches, especially not in a league as unpredictable and emotionally charged as MLS. When someone with Howard's legacy speaks, people listen, and the message he sends out is crystal clear. Miami can't afford a single second of complacency. Messi's brilliance is unquestioned, his influence on the pitch undeniable, but even the greatest players need teams functioning at full throttle in battles of this magnitude. And Howard knows exactly how quickly momentum can shift when pressure reaches its peak. It's also a nod to the way NYCFC have reshaped themselves this season, growing in confidence, sharpening their structure, and embracing the underdog mindset that so often becomes a dangerous weapon in knockout football. Howard is reminding Miami that this isn't a routine match, it's a test of character, discipline and resilience under bright lights and roaring crowds, a situation where every run matters, every tackle matters, every missed assignment could turn into a nightmare. His warning to Messi is especially intriguing because it carries the weight of experience from someone who's stood in goal against the world's best attackers and knows what separates winners from nearly winners. Howard emphasises that Miami's opponents won't be starstruck or intimidated. Instead, they will be emboldened by the challenge of facing the biggest icon the sport has ever produced, ready to swarm, press and disrupt every rhythm Miami tries to build. For Messi, who has carried the expectations of clubs and countries for nearly 2 decades, this becomes another chapter in a career defined by rising to moments exactly like this one. But Howard's words highlight that even he cannot carry the team alone if the rest of the squad isn't fully locked in emotionally and tactically. Miami will need their backline sharper than ever, their midfield braver than ever, their attackers more clinical than ever, because NYCFC won't be offering second chances. Howard's tone also reflects a subtle but powerful truth. Messi has changed the equation in MLS, but the league itself refuses to hand anyone an easy path, and every opponent, especially one with NYCFC's grit, sees an opportunity to create a seismic moment by toppling the favourite. So when Howard warns Miami, it's not criticism, It's a reality check, a reminder that finals demand intensity from the first whistle to the last. A reminder that big names don't shield teams from the chaos of knockout football, and a reminder that New York City FC have both the hunger and the momentum to punish even the smallest lapse, forcing Miami to play with total commitment and awareness from every player in pink, forming the kind of collective resolve that even Messi's magic needs behind it to survive the fire that awaits in a match charged with this level of expectation and pressure. Inter Miami's season has unfolded like a dramatic football saga filled with emotional swings, moments of brilliance and stretches of adversity that tested every ounce of the squad's belief. And at the centre of it all has been Lionel Messi, carrying the torch with the kind of calm authority that only he possesses. From the early part of the campaign, Miami were confronted with a wave of injuries that destabilised their rhythm, forced tactical reshuffling and placed immense pressure on the players who remained available, creating a scenario where every match felt like a puzzle that needed solving with limited pieces. Despite all of this, Messi's presence became the glue holding the entire project together, not only through goals and assists, but through the aura he brought, the confidence he injected, and the sense of inevitability he created whenever he stepped onto the pitch. Even in games where Miami were pushed into uncomfortable positions, where opponents pressed them relentlessly or forced them into long defensive stretches, Messi found ways to turn the narrative, whether through a perfectly weighted pass that unlocked a defence, or a burst of individual brilliance that shifted momentum in an instant, reminding everyone why he remains the heartbeat of this ambitious project. Yet the season wasn't just about Messi elevating the team, it was also about Miami learning how to grow through adversity, developing resilience that didn't exist before, and discovering the mental toughness needed to compete deep into the postseason. They navigated stretches where results didn't go their way, where criticism mounted, where doubts started to creep in about whether this squad had the depth and structure to complement Messi's genius. But each setback became a catalyst for improvement, pushing players to demand more from themselves and each other. The midfield learned to shoulder more responsibility, the defence learned to stay compact under pressure, and the attackers around Messi learned how to make runs that sharpen their collective threat. Even the coaching staff adapted, adjusting tactics to maximise limited resources during injury crises and keeping the group aligned with the ultimate goal of reaching this very stage. Through it all, Messi's leadership became a silent force, guiding the younger players, calming the storm in high-pressure moments, and reminding them through his actions that greatness isn't defined by easy victories, but by thriving when circumstances are far from ideal. The blend of chaos, triumphs, setbacks and resurgence shaped a version of Inter Miami that arrives at the conference final battle-tested, seasoned and mentally sharpened in a way they wouldn't have been without the struggles they faced, carrying with them the knowledge that their journey to this point required far more than talent. It required resilience, adaptability and the kind of determination that transforms a team from hopeful contenders into true fighters poised for the biggest moments of their season. NYCFC enter this conference final with a mindset that makes them one of the most dangerous opponents Inter Miami could face, carrying a level of fearlessness that comes from weeks of steady growth, sharp performances and a belief system that has been building quietly but powerfully throughout the season. They don't look at Messi with intimidation, they look at him with opportunity, with the hunger to prove themselves against the greatest, with the confidence of a team that has forged its identity through grit and collective commitment rather than individual superstardom. Their journey hasn't been glamorous, but it has been relentless, shaped by moments where they were counted out, by stretches where they were forced to fight for points, and by matches where they had to claw their way back into relevance through sheer determination. This adversity hardened them, turning them into a team that thrives on challenges instead of shrinking from them. A team that welcomes big stages as platforms to showcase their intensity, discipline and belief in each other. Their young core has stepped up with remarkable maturity, pressing with cohesion, defending with organisation and transitioning with speed that can unsettle even top-tier defences. And it's this energy that makes them such a threat to Miami's rhythm-heavy style of play. They're unafraid to push forward, unafraid to disrupt, unafraid to match fire with fire. And that makes them exactly the kind of opponent who not only accepts the challenge of facing Messi, but embraces it with ambition. Their confidence doesn't come from arrogance, but from preparation, from understanding their system, from trusting their structure, and from knowing that their strength lies in unity rather than individual heroics. They've studied Miami, they understand the spaces they need to exploit, and they know that if they can frustrate Messi by cutting supply lines and forcing Miami into uncomfortable scenarios, the balance of the match could tilt in their favour. Their coaching staff has instilled a mentality that champions composure under pressure, encouraging the squad to maintain intensity without losing discipline, to stay brave on the ball, and to attack transitions with full conviction. Every player seems to understand their role with clarity, and this collective synchronization gives NYCFC the confidence to enter the final not as underdogs hoping for luck, but as a team fully convinced they can win on merit. They want to test Miami's resilience, challenge their defensive structure, and force them into a physical and mental battle that stretches beyond moments of Messi magic. This hunger, this determination, this refusal to back down transforms NYCFC from just another opponent into a formidable, fully engaged unit stepping onto the pitch with a mission, ready to prove that heart, work rate and belief can stand toe-to-toe with even the brightest star power in world football. The stakes of the conference final place into Miami in a razor-sharp situation where every decision, every touch and every moment carries the weight of an entire season, creating an atmosphere where one mistake could send everything crashing down and one moment of brilliance could change the trajectory of the match. This isn't just another game, it's the kind of high-pressure environment where players discover what they're truly made of, where confidence can crumble or ignite in seconds, and where even the most seasoned footballers feel the tension tightening around them like a vice. Miami know they've walked a tightrope all season, surviving injuries, rotation challenges, tactical questions, and stretches where results refuse to cooperate, but now all of that noise fades and only the present matters. The margin for error is microscopic, and Miami's backline knows they can't switch off for even a heartbeat because NYCFC have the pace, aggression, and willingness to pounce on the smallest laps, turning half chances into heartbreak. The midfield understands that hesitation on the ball, losing a duel, could spark transitions that expose spaces Messi can't fix on his own, and the attacking unit knows that wastefulness in the final third could be the difference between celebration and devastation. These knockout matches have a unique rhythm, one filled with emotional swings that test composure, where a single moment of panic or miscommunication can unravel hours of preparation. Miami have learned through the season that talent wins matches but concentration wins finals, and this match demands both in full force. Their coaching staff will stress the importance of managing momentum, staying calm through NYCFC's inevitable pressing waves, and avoiding the traps that come when a game becomes frantic under the spotlight. For Messi, the stakes add another layer of responsibility. He knows opponents will press harder, close faster, foul more often, and attempt to disrupt the rhythm he needs to dictate the game. Yet Miami cannot rely solely on his ability to create magic, because NYCFC's intensity means that if the supporting cast isn't fully dialed in, turnovers could pile up and shifts in momentum could tilt the pitch in dangerous ways. The pressure also shapes how Miami must manage transitions, knowing that losing the ball in the wrong phases could trigger a chain of chaos that tests their defensive structure and collective mentality. In matches like this, the psychological battle matters as much as the tactical one, with players needing to maintain belief even if the match becomes tense, physical, or unexpectedly difficult. The stakes force Miami to embrace the uncomfortable truth that this game could swing wildly, that even dominant phases won't guarantee safety, and that they must treat every second like the defining moment of their season. The fear of a single mistake isn't something they can run from, it's something they must channel, turning pressure into sharpness, urgency into focus, and expectation into the drive that carries them through the intensity of knockout football where nothing is promised and everything is at risk. The clash between Inter Miami and NYCFC becomes more than just a tactical battle. It becomes a collision of philosophies, energies, and ambitions, testing whether Miami's star power and individual brilliance can withstand or overpower the relentless hunger and collective drive that fuels New York City. Miami step into the match with some of the biggest names in the league, with Messi at the heart of everything, a symbol of elegance, experience and match-winning genius. But finals aren't always shaped by the biggest name on the pitch. Sometimes they're shaped by the team that refuses to stop running, pressing, believing and fighting for every blade of grass. NYCFC come on with that hunger, a raw fire that pushes them to challenge every ball, disrupt every build-up and show no respect for reputations, creating a contrast between Miami's polished, star-studded identity and New York's gritty collective approach. The question hanging over the match is whether Miami's individual brilliance can carve open a team that doesn't give you space, time or comfort, or whether NYCFC's energy and unity can smother even the most talented players into frustration. Messi will undoubtedly draw the spotlight, but for Miami to rise above the storm, it requires more than his magic. It requires synchronization, quick reactions, sharp decision-making, and teammates who understand how to move, create angles, and support the rhythm he sets. NYCFC understand this too, which is why they'll aim to cut passing lanes, force Miami into tight pockets and make the pitch feel small, a tactic that disrupts even the smoothest attacking structures. Miami's ability to withstand these tactical challenges will reveal the team's character, showing whether they've grown enough to respond with calmness and intelligence under pressure, or whether NYCFC's determination will push them into rushed decisions or defensive scrambling. Every duel becomes a micro-story, every transition a moment that can tilt momentum, and every chance either a spark of hope or a missed opportunity that weighs on the mind. The intensity from NYCFC will try to expose any vulnerability in Miami's shape, while Miami will aim to slow the tempo, control possession, and create the kind of moments where Messi's vision becomes the difference between tension and triumph. This duel becomes a test of mentality as much as skill, asking whether Miami stars can impose their identity on a match designed to be chaotic, or whether NYCFC's belief and unity can overpower the artistry of their opponents. As the match unfolds, the emotional waves will crash, the momentum will swing, and the outcome will reflect which side embraces the moment with more courage, composure, and conviction, turning this showdown into a defining chapter written by either the brilliance of icons or the relentless drive of a team fueled by pure hunger. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.